welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart and Jess
Dave
Perkins.
Warnicky, that's it. I was feeling, because we've known each other so long now, it felt weird to ask.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you bringing that up.
You saying that has possibly saved me from anyone pointing out that I said Jess Perkins. Mispronounced your name. Hey, we're still recovering from New Year's Eve. What a big night.
What a big night we had. I went bloody wild, mate, let me tell you.
The thing is, I set my expectations for it so high, and it exceeded them.
Yeah.
Famously, that's the night to do it.
Yeah.
If you ever want to set expectations high and have them met, it is New Year's Eve.
100%. Anything is possible. It is always fun. You can get an Uber easily.
Because I was saying, you were there on the way into town for New Year's Eve. I was saying
Only place to be, town.
Oh, you got to go head into town.
Fireworks, you get the kids session and the adult session.
Yeah, you got to get into town.
We're like, will Dave make it past the kids session? He did, which is great.
It was a great night. I obviously fell asleep in the back of the car. You carried me into bed.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So, but what do we do here again?
Well, Jess would be the best one to explain that, I think.
That's right. Dave did point that question at you, and you've beautifully deflected that over here. What we do is each week one of us goes off, we research a topic. Could be anything from serial killers to Dolly Parton to mysteries to World War One. We've done it all.
The big four.
And they do some research, bring it back to the other two, tell them about it, and you, because you're listening in, while the other two just sort of rudely interrupt and make silly little jokes.
Yeah. Really, the listener, you're the best one. You're just listening quietly.
Yeah.
Apart from the times you yell at your iPod. But we can't hear that, so it doesn't really affect us.
Affect the flow of the episode. And we always start with a question.
That's right. I'm doing the report this week, and my question is pretty broad here. What is the great Australian summertime adventure? Probably great everywhere summertime adventure. But what are you doing? You've got no plans for a couple of days. What are you going to do?
You're at the beach.
Yeah, surfing.
You obviously come across some sort of smugglers, and then it's up to you and your brother to solve the case.
Okay, so you're thinking like a Poirot-style
like
investigation.
Hardy
Jess,
Boys.
what do you, a normal person, do? It's summertime.
Most summers, I go on a road trip.
Yes, Bob,
Yes!
that's it. It's road trip. We're going on a road trip.
Fun.
I prefer to solve
This one's not that
crimes.
fun, but...
You solve crimes.
Yeah, I like solving crimes.
Summer holidays, Christmas, that little time between Christmas and New Year's, you're like, oh, I can solve like 3 crimes this week.
Well, this is the perfect episode for you two. Jess, you can enjoy the road trip. Dave, you can try and solve this, whatever it is.
Okay.
Mysterious event, I suppose. This one was suggested by Sean Harris from Cartersville, Georgia. Niall from Melbourne, here in Victoria.
That's right where we are.
Hannah from Washington, D.C., up on Capitol Hill. And Hussein Mehdi from Antwerp in Belgium.
Awesome.
So this one, obviously, this story has travelled around the world a little bit. That's a whole 3 different countries that have suggested this.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. 3. Including Belgium, obviously, the home of Poirot.
Exactly.
All right, let us begin. Oh, I mean, do you want to know what the story is?
Yeah.
It's, I think it's going to be called the Tromp Family Mystery. Tromp. Do you remember the Tromps?
Oh, yes. Vaguely. I don't remember. I don't know heaps.
I was the same. I'm like, I recall it very, very vaguely.
Yeah, like seeing a newspaper article about it or something.
But I didn't know the story at all.
Yeah, right.
So this isn't contemporary mystery?
It is contemporary. When did you start working in TV, in news comedy?
About 5 years back.
Oh, well, you were potentially there at this point.
Really?
Because this happened about 5 years back.
Wow.
Let us begin. On the 30th of August 2016, police arrived at the Tromp family home in Sylvan in the Yarra Ranges just outside of Melbourne. Sort of just beyond the Dandenongs.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of Sylvan.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
Sort of
That's convincing, isn't it?
out towards, that little wine region out there, the Yarra Ranges.
Yeah.
I think I just said.
If you'd asked me where's Sylvan, I wouldn't have a clue.
I don't think I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, right.
But it's, it would be like a half hour or so drive from here probably.
Yeah, not too bad.
The Tromp family lived on their Redcurrant farm where they also ran an earth-moving business. The farm's website describes it as a, quote, lovely, tranquil property. The Tromps all worked for their family business, and they did that 7 days a week. Jacoba, known as Kobe, was 53 at the time. Her husband, Mark, 51, and their adult children, Rihanna, 29, Mitchell, 25, and Ella, 22. Police arrived at the farm as Kobe and Mark had been reported missing. When they arrived, they found a strange scene. Ella's silver Peugeot. Did I say that weird? Peugeot.
Ooh,
How
la
much-
la.
Peugeot? I mean, it wasn't that
yeah,
bad.
it wasn't that far off. I just felt a bit wrong.
If you'd kept going, nobody would have noticed.
Damn it.
Was it parked in the driveway next to their Volkswagen?
Volkswagen.
And their Saab. It's the only way you can say it.
It's tragic that Saab has gone out of business.
Saab.
They don't make
Has it
Saabs.
really?
No Saabs
No
anymore.
Saabs anymore.
Tragic.
Sweden's national car.
The Saab.
Oh, is that Swedish?
It was a Swedish car, yeah.
Nailed
Rest
it.
in peace.
What about their Mazda?
They've got. I mean, they've still got the Volvo, right? That beautiful box. World's
Oh.
safest car at some point.
Wow.
Box
But
on
tell them,
wheels.
how about Volvo drivers? Am I right?
Safe.
Remember when they try to get? Yeah, they try to take that back with an ad
Yeah.
campaign all back and you wish you were a bloody Volvo driver. Beautiful work. Anyway, so the police arrived and Ella's silver Peugeot station wagon was gone, but the other cars remained, including their keys in the ignitions.
Oh.
All cars have
Yeah.
keys in the
I
ignition.
think there's like 3 other automobiles, maybe. Yeah,
That's odd.
Is that a standard thing for this family? That's how tranquil this farm is. They go
that's pretty
Leave
true.
the
No one's
keys
coming. in the ignition.
Yeah, you don't lose them when they're in the ignition.
It's true.
You just go to your car. Where are my keys? Ready to go.
Some people have like a key hook inside their house.
Lame.
Cars have an inbuilt key hook. It's called the ignition.
I've got a key pineapple.
Really?
Yeah. It's a little pineapple-shaped dish. And that's where I put my keys.
Okay.
I was
Put them
hoping
in the pineapple, I
I was
say.
hoping you like hollowed out a pineapple
Yeah.
and hid it in the fridge. No robbers looking at a pineapple.
My
That's
keys
clever.
are always nice and chilled.
And sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky and sweet.
I gotta lick them clean. There's a little treat for me.
Eh? Here you go. Oh, I got to leave the house again. Well, there's a little treat on the way out. The house was unlocked, and inside the police found the family's passports, credit cards, and mobile phones all out on a table.
All out on it, because I was just thinking the cops have dug deep if they've found all their passports and stuff, because they're usually like stored somewhere safe, but they've just left them out.
This,
Yeah.
this is a very trusting family.
That is odd.
You know what? I may have. That may have been an assumption I made, but
Right.
that's what it felt. That's how it read.
Where would you look for a passport? Like if you're the cops.
Passport pineapples,
Oh,
or I
yeah.
put
Watermelon.
it. Yeah, the hollowed out watermelon keeps them fresh and sticky.
I don't know, bedside table, maybe?
Yeah.
It means every time you leave to go overseas, like, oh, I got to go overseas, but you get a sticky little treat.
You hand it over to customs. They're like, what? Why is this so sticky?
My friend is a cop and one time went to a scene and they couldn't find this person's phone. They're like, he doesn't have a mobile phone or anything, so they didn't know how to contact next of kin or anything like that. And he was an old man, and she's like, they looked for literally like 5 different police officers looked for a couple of hours, like there's no phone here. And then she's like, he's old, so is my dad. Where does dad put his phone? Top of the microwave. Goes to the microwave,
No
there's the
kidding.
phone. Yeah.
Wow.
She was like, there were 5 officers in there and nobody found it.
She got in the mind
Yeah.
of the criminal.
So that's why I'm thinking like, okay, where's my passport? That's where I would look for them.
Right.
Filing cabinet.
Filing cabinet.
Aha.
So as well as the passports, credit cards, mobile phones, they also found business documents and financial statements stacked in neat piles, all out.
Okay.
These were certainly on the table.
So
Yeah, okay.
ready to do their tax.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, but it's August. I guess that time's out okay.
Yeah.
It just seems like, this family just leave everything out. Do they own a cupboard?
Very messy.
Yeah, it was a nice big farm homestead, but not very good storage.
Yeah.
It's like a small mansion, but, cupboard
Jesus
space.
Christ, yeah.
Enough for linen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
what
then
do you
what
do
do
with
you
the
do?
bits and bobs?
Yeah.
So
What do you do with the
draw
Christmas
down.
tree? That takes up a bit of storage space. Not everybody's got a shed.
Yeah, or a paddocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you imagine their shed?
Oh,
Nightmare.
It'd be a real nightmare.
Wouldn't even have the tools in a toolbox. They'd just be loose everywhere.
They certainly wouldn't have one of those boards with
No.
the outlines
Yeah.
drawn. So very mysterious scene the police found.
And this is, so just to confirm, it's Mark and Kobe. They're the parents.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Disappeared.
right.
Wow.
Mark and Kobe, the parents, and the children, Rihanna, Mitchell, and Ella.
Mm-hmm.
REM, if that helps you.
That does.
It absolutely does. Everybody hurts. That's how I remember it.
So what happened?
Yeah, where are they?
Let's go back a few days.
So it was Ella's Peugeot that's gone?
Ella's Peugeot.
So the youngest.
Yeah, Peugeot.
Yeah, okay. Her Peugeot. I'm so sorry. I'm not a car person.
Oh, a Peugeot.
They used to say, let's per go
Oh,
to the
that's
shops.
good. That's good.
We'll take the Jeep.
So we're not even going back a couple of days. We're going back to the previous day, Monday, August 29th. This is when the Tromps leave their farm in Ella's silver Peugeot and they head north. They leave their credit cards, IDs, and mobile phones at home. Anything that's sort of traceable.
Okay.
Well, okay. Yeah. Something's happened.
Around 30 kilometres into the journey at Warburton, the family realised that Mitchell has... Have I said that wrong? Warburton.
Only laughing because we were talking about how American people say Australian stuff differently to us. And we were going,
But also, I brought that up because I noticed it on another thing when people notice it when we say other countries'
Yeah.
places
Yeah.
wrong. But I think that helps prove I also say our things wrong
Yeah,
too.
and also, like, it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, I mean, you say that, but you both looked and
I
could
thought-
not have laughed harder.
I thought you were doing that on purpose because of the Peugeot thing. So
I
I was like,
then.
oh, that's good.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, we knew what you meant, and
Dave
who cares?
scoffed. Dave was scoffing over there.
Only
he
because-
was halfway through writing a tweet. Actually,
Do you mean a Warburton?
I was yelling at my iPod, which in this instance was my microphone. No, I just thought it was
because
funny in the context of...
you two are from
setting.
you're from that area, I guess, are you? Is that
Warburton.
out east somewhere or something?
No idea where Warburton is, actually.
You just know how it's bloody pronounced. Well
Yeah.
done. Well, it's about 30 k's from Sylvan.
Okay, right.
Am I saying Sylvan right?
Oh.
I've never heard
Sylvan.
of it. Sylvan.
I'd also never heard of Troy Sylvan.
So around 30 k's into the journey at Warburton, the family realised that Mitchell has brought his phone with him.
Mitchell.
What?
What? You bloody tweeting, playing your little Tetris, are ya? Unbelievable.
Hey, guys, leave everything that can be tracked. And Mitchell's like, absolutely not.
I'm bringing my GPS.
2016. What were the big phone games back then?
Big phone. Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. It was probably he's like
Probably wasn't Angry
I'm
Birds,
on a
but
high
Angry
level
Birds is
of Angry
timeless.
Birds.
You know?
Yeah.
Fruit Ninja hollowing out a
Ninja.
pineapple, putting something in there.
Yes. Flink, flink.
So the family see that he's got his phone and they make him throw it out the window.
Oh, at least they didn't throw him out the window.
That's true. He's pretty big though.
They make him throw it out the window. Okay.
They drive through the day and into the night before arriving in Bathurst in New South Wales, around 760 kilometres northeast of their home.
It's a big day's drive.
It's a big day's drive.
Straight to Mount Panorama.
Exactly. Well,
Just doing a couple of laps.
That's right. It's August, a bit early. They're getting there early in time to bury their slabs in the. What some people do, bury their beers in the ground because they're only allowed to bring. So Bathurst is the home of Australia's big race day.
Car racing.
Car racing, the touring cars, the Australian V8
The
touring car.
supercars.
And there's a rule there at Bathurst, Joe, that you're allowed one slab of beer per person per day. They're very strict on that.
So much beer.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
And for some people, that's
Some
not
people-
enough. So for maybe people that don't know the slab, that's 24 beers.
Yes.
Per day.
4 six-packs.
375, standard stubby sized beers or cans.
And then for some people, that's not enough, so they have to go in and bury more.
How many
Apparently.
days is it?
It's like a 3-day weekend, I think.
So I'm
Maybe
thinking, I'm imagining the boot of my car, and I'm like, how many could I fit in? Not that much, probably. So I'd be burying. Yeah.
Yeah.
A slab would last me. I'd have leftovers at the end of 3 days.
Oh, that is, you think about it, one beer every hour for 72 straight hours.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I think I'm like that sometimes. In the past, I'd go to a music festival where you could bring your own beer, and I'd always be like 3 nights. Well, I'll need 2 slabs and then a few other things.
Yeah.
Like,
2 slabs and then a bottle of vodka and some
Yeah.
mixers. And you're like, no.
and then I'll go, well, obviously, I'll go to the bar when I'm there, have a few of their cocktails. And you're like, how did I think I was going to fit that much liquid inside of me?
And then you just have to take it home and just put it somewhere for the next time you
Yeah.
need drinks.
Yes.
That's great. A slab per person per day.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
That's
I love it.
so
Such
good.
a great rule. So anyway, they've made it to Bathurst.
They've made it to Bathurst. So it's now...
You can't track a slab, but they've got slabs on them.
That's true.
Are there tracking devices in slabs?
There might be. Mitchell, throw it out the window.
And I'm assuming... So it's not clear. There's not heaps of information about this story, even though it is quite a well-known one. It's one of those ones where it's written about in a lot of different sources, but it's all with pretty much quite similar details.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they've slept in the car. 5 of them in this Subaru.
And they're adults. It's not like the kids are little kids, you know, who could maybe curl up in the back seat. They're fully grown adults. No, thank you. Not the way my dad snores.
Around 7 a.m. the following day, Tuesday, August 30th, at Kelso, a suburb of Bathurst, Mitchell splits from his family after deciding to head home via Sydney on the train. He's had enough of whatever's going on. He's heading home. So they've driven through the night, 760 k's away, and he's gone, I'm going to take multiple
home.
trains and head back home.
He's having phone withdrawals.
Yeah.
I've got to go back for
I've got to
that
go
phone.
get my phone. That phone means so much to me.
I'm feeling a bit like an angry bird right now. Got to get out of this car. So now just the 4 of them. The Tromps head southeast to the Jenolan Caves near the Blue Mountains. Are you familiar with the Jenolan Caves?
No.
I hadn't heard of them, but I looked up the website. It looks magnificent.
Cool.
According to the state New South Wales tourism website, Jenolan Caves is one of the great natural spectacles in Australia, the most ancient open caves in the world with arguably the most beautiful limestone formations. Tucked into a remote valley in the southern Blue Mountains National Park, this labyrinth of stalactite-lined chasms carved by pure underground rivers is a must-do extension for any visit to the Blue Mountains. So I don't know if all of a sudden they've gone, well, while we're in the area,
Yeah.
this is a must-see.
I might have been there.
You might have been to
The Jenolan.
arguably the most beautiful limestone formations in the world.
Yeah, maybe.
The most ancient open caves.
You'd remember
Have
that,
we
mate.
got... Well, we went to some caves, but I was quite little. It's like 4 or 5. There's pictures. That was probably them. How many caves have we got here, you know?
Ugh.
It's probably
Good
them.
question.
Mum, Dad, let me know. Give some context first, because I won't remember what you're talking about. If you're just like, yeah, we've been there. I'm like, what are you talking? Are you losing your mind, Mum? Do
Oh,
we
we've
have to
been
look
there.
into homes?
I love the idea that this family went to the information kiosk and said,
Yeah.
"What's
good
around
here?"
here?"
We're fleeing mysteriously.
Yeah.
But
What should we
thought
see while we're here?
What do you see when you're fleeing?
We got time to kill.
What do you see when you flee? That's nice. I'd buy that book.
That is good, yeah.
What you see when you flee.
What you see when you flee.
That's beautiful. I'd be like, oh, this is going to be a tale of,
The Tromp's Guide to
yeah.
Tourism, New South Wales.
Okay, yes.
Why the family went there is unknown, apart from obviously, the
Beauty.
obviously beautiful ambiance. But what is known, the daughters, Rihanna and Ella, at this point decide to split off from their parents.
Oh, they split the party twice.
They've
now.
already split the party twice. And we know from an early episode, Burke and Wills, you never split the party.
Do not split the party.
Especially if you're deep inside a cave. That's ridiculous.
The Tromps, they push Burke and Wills for the most party splitting
Yeah.
that we've ever come across. I
Yeah,
reckon,
wow.
on this
Well,
podcast.
if Mum and Dad split as well, that would be quite impressive.
Well,
so they've just left their parents and said, we're going back as well.
yeah, again, it's unknown why, but they've split up.
Interesting.
They do this by stealing a car and driving to Goulburn, which is about 150 kilometres south of the caves. Perhaps they went to Goulburn to see Rambo, the big concrete Merlino ram, one of Australia's famous big things.
Yeah.
Seems like they're just on a bit of a tourist circuit at this point. According to the Big Merino's website, the Big Merino, built in 1985, is a monument to Goulburn and the surrounding district's fine wool industry, standing 15.2 metres high, 18 metres long, and weighing at 97 tonnes. At the time of construction, he is an impressive, lifelike model of Rambo, a stud ram from a local property.
What a stud.
We spoke about Rambo in length on a bonus episode about Australia's big things. I think that was did that about a year ago. If you want to check that out, as well as 130 other fantastic bonus episodes, you can sign up to digonpod.com or patreon.com/digonpod and hear all about it. Other classics on that episode. Ploddy. Do you remember Ploddy?
Oh, yeah. Love Ploddy.
Ploddy was so good. The Diplodocus.
Yes.
And what else was there?
The giant potato.
Giant potato,
Yeah.
which some people thought looked like a big shit.
Wasn't it? It's the big shit. That was a really fun episode.
Yeah, it's a good one.
There are we found dozens of them around
There's
Australia.
so many.
And I think, who was it? I think Siraj might have even put together a bingo game, and he then went around and took photos with all these big things and won his own bingo game. Siraj, one of our great listeners and supporters.
Love it.
Anyhow, so they went to Goulburn.
So they've stolen a car too. Would you know how to steal a car?
Nah. Well, I mean, if the keys are left in the ignition, that's very easy.
That's their assumption. Well, we could have any of these. They're like, what about that Ferrari? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, well, I just assume the keys are in the ignition. It's weird that I'm even saying it, because that's just how keys are in ignitions.
Maybe, and then they get lucky. It's the one car with the keys, and they're like, well, I guess everyone does it.
My car doesn't have an ignition anymore. I ripped it out. Cop
that thieves.
Yeah, so that makes me feel safe, actually.
Great.
I won't leave the keys in the ignition for someone to steal it.
You've got a push button ignition, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, very fancy.
It feels fancy.
That is very fancy.
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well. It's an old car.
As far as I knew, it was only sports cars and Ferrari type cars that did that.
Yeah, well, I've got a sports Ferrari.
Do you have a sports Ferrari?
I've got a sports Ferrari.
Bloody hell.
One simply must have a sports Ferrari.
Real upgrade from your old regular Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oof.
It was embarrassing driving it around, actually. I just thought, Jess, you're 30, stop driving the car you had since you were 22.
I love the idea of, how like a Ford or a Holden or a Toyota, they'll have their standard Camry, and then there'll be like a Camry Sports Edition, which will have like a spoiler on it, and maybe like a lift kit or something.
Yeah.
Probably not a lift kit, but it'll have like
It'll have a stripe
side
on it.
skirts and a stripe. I love the idea of Ferrari. Oh yeah, what'd you get? A Ferrari Sports Edition?
Yeah. It's got a stripe on it.
Put a spoiler on it.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Oh, you really flashed up that Ferrari.
Yeah. The steering wheel's a sports steering wheel.
Yeah.
got a
Leather seats.
Got a 13th cylinder.
Bucket seats. Yeah. So pretty
It's honestly very uncomfortable and impractical and cost me way more.
Wait, what were we talking about?
They stole a car.
They
So
went
they
to
stole a car.
Goulburn.
They're in Goulburn.
Goulburn. Home of Rambo.
You're in Goulburn. You're the sisters. You've just split from your parents. What do?
Go to the Rambo.
You split from each other.
Of course.
No.
So Ella decides to continue driving the stolen car back home to Sylvan, while Rihanna stowed away in the back of a random man's ute while it was parked at a service station. She just jumped in a guy's ute.
Okay,
I
some
thought
weird
that happens in movies.
stuff is going on in this family.
As a ute, you used to have a ute, Matt. Did you check the back of the ute?
Never checked the tray.
You gotta check the tray, I'm now realising.
Yeah.
Check the tray, especially if you're stopping at a bloody a road, one of those big road houses on major freeways, major highways that they're massive.
Oh, you must check the tray.
You simply must check the tray.
I'm checking the back seats of my hatchback to make sure that no one's going to pop up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that if someone pops up from the tray, you're like, all right.
Yeah, you're outside the car.
Yeah.
But I feel like this was like a twin cab. I don't know that for sure. I'm pretty sure this was a twin cab, and she got in the back, like the back of the.
No.
Yeah, so
of
it
the
was
car
inside
part.
the
She's
car.
not in the tray.
I think so.
Fuck, that's terrifying.
But if you'd like, we can get this story from the horse's mouth. Keith himself, the man driving the ute.
It was driven by a horse.
You hear Keith, you think horse?
Well, you said horse's mouth.
Okay, sorry.
Dave is very literal.
Some great association.
I
there.
once knew a horse named Keith. Only Keith I've ever known.
Yeah.
Is it Keith?
This is my cousin Keith,
the horse.
who at the time was 14, 15. Was
Yes.
it him?
I know for you it's Greg's and Gary's, but my favourite comedy name is probably Keith.
Keith
Keith's
is
a great
fantastic.
name.
Keith
Keith.
is in the same family as Greg and Gary.
Keith, or have you Keith? Also
Keith.
good.
Keith is amazing.
Oh yeah, Keithy.
Do you know what I was thinking last night? I've been watching the Harry Potter movies.
Okay.
He who shall not be named on the screen. And I'm
Keith, who
like,
shall
that
not be
man's name is Ralph. Ralph! Ralph Fiennes has like the fanciest fucking name. Like his middle names are ridiculous. He sounds so hoity-toity. But his name is Ralph.
Doesn't he pronounce it Rafe or something as
Yeah.
well? Which is, it's like, mate, we know who you are.
It's Ralph.
You're Ralph. Is it Rafe, he says, or something like that?
Yeah, I think you're right because as we were watching, my partner was like, is that Rafe Fiennes? I was like, that's Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph.
Ralph! Anyway,
Which is a word for spewing.
that's up there, I think, with Keith.
Ralph is good.
Ralph.
Did you ever watch King Ralph?
Yes,
When-
of course.
There was the setup for the film is the whole English monarchy, the whole extended family meeting for a family reunion. It's raining. They have a big family portrait, and it's one of those big old school cameras, and the leads are going through the water.
Yep.
They're standing in the water, and the photo electrocutes and kills the whole extended family. So the next person they can find next in line for the throne is an American man played by John Goodman called Ralph. And then the film's about King Ralph tearing it up at Buckingham Palace. Probably with a beautiful ending, I imagine.
I'm sure he...
Geez, he was a fish out of water, though. With a heart of gold.
Oh, this time
Matt's review. I think I would love to... you should have your own, like, review show. Jeez, he was a fish out of water. That's great. That's very funny. Sorry. She's stowed away in Keith's car.
which is so well. And now we're going to hear from the horse Keith himself.
Yeah, we assume. I mean, I had been assuming it's a man, but there is nothing explicitly here to say that it is a man.
If a horse was to
A
drive
human man, that
if
is.
a horse was to drive a car, it would be a twin cab.
Yeah,
Surely.
Surely.
That's right.
I think it would be a convertible.
A bit more clearance.
So David Cole reported on what happened next in the Goulburn Post, writing, Goulburn resident Keith Whitaker said the drama began when he pulled into a Caltex service station in Goulburn in his white Ford F250 dual cab ute
Okay.
on Tuesday around 11 a.m. That's probably where I got the dual cab bit from.
Yeah.
I'm like, in my head, I'm picturing a dual cab for some reason.
I think it's a dual cab.
This is directly from the horse's mouth now. I filled up with petrol and drove off on my way to Canberra for a doctor's appointment.
Keith, did you pay?
Yeah, if you're telling us every bit, Keith.
Yeah.
And then I paid, I used a card.
Yeah.
I also bought a
little Milky Way.
A golden rough and a Milky Way.
Bought a scratchy, did not win.
And a chocky milk for my drive.
I got to Lake George when I felt a kick to the back of my seat. Imagine that. You're on the highway.
No. You're doing 110.
You feel a kick in the back of your seat.
No.
I turned around and saw two legs stretched across the back between my seat and the floor. She was lying on the floor, Mr. Whitaker said. I got an extreme shock. I pulled over in a rest area.
You had to wait for a rest area. I had to wait 18 kilometres. I was just...
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, wouldn't that, the assumption would be someone's in the back of my car. They're
Yeah.
probably not here to give me an extra chocolate rough
That
or Milky Way.
would scare the shit out of me.
Well, he was in extreme shock.
Yes.
About 20 minutes later, the young woman sat up and was staring straight ahead.
Sorry.
20...
What happened?
So this is after he's pulled over.
Yes.
What happened for 20 minutes?
She just stays still
I
in the
think
car.
That is what happened.
Oh my God. But that gives cops enough time to get to you.
Interesting you
Not
say
quite,
that.
actually.
So was he just sitting there going, I don't know what to do. I'll wait for her to make
That's
the next
what it
first
sounds
move.
like, right?
Oh my God.
Keith, you wild dog.
So he waits 20 minutes. Then she sits up, staring straight ahead. I asked her who she was and if she was all right. She did not know her name and had no idea where she was. I asked her if she needed any water or anything or was in any way injured, and she said no. Then I called the police.
Oh my God,
So
Keith.
20 minutes has gone by.
Although, like, is it a crime to hide in someone's car? It should be. It's questionable.
I feel like it's right on that grey.
Is it a crime to give someone a spook?
You're breaking into their car. Surely you
Yeah.
can't do that.
Surely you can't do that.
Yeah. Was
And
it
it's sus-
trespass on your car?
It's a sus thing to do, to hide in someone's car. You know? Oh. I would have called the cops much sooner, to be honest.
Probably before you're pulling over.
Well, my sports Ferrari has Bluetooth, so while I'm driving still, I reckon.
And a panic button.
Yeah. So I would have gone, hey Siri, call police.
Hey Siri,
And-
panic.
I actually just set her off.
Hey,
No, all good.
hey Siri.
Just to confirm, you're panicking?
Siri, set off the back ejector seat.
Yeah. Boing.
I can't believe you just sat there for 20 minutes.
Amazing.
Like there was a snake in the back, and if he moved, it might bite him.
Yeah.
So he waits the 20 minutes, then she sits up, he talks to her, and he goes, oh, this is a bit weird. I'm going to call the police.
Sounds like he's been very calm and
Yeah.
and kind.
Wow.
More like, is everything okay? Why are you here? Something bad happened
Do you
to
need
you.
Yeah.
water? Are you all right? Yeah,
not,
you're right.
You're not a threat to me. Something's obviously happened to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he seems like he's got good instincts as well because, I mean, potentially it was clear that she was in shock or...
Did he call the doctors and let them know he wasn't making the appointment?
Oh, yeah, good point. He'd be running really late.
He'd be running.
Look,
But
you
you know
won't
what waiting
believe this.
times are like.
Yeah, true.
But he's 3 hours late and he's still on time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
those bloody doctors.
He walks in and they're like, Keith? He's like, nailed it. Yes.
So he calls the police and then he says, until the police arrived, she mostly sat and stared straight ahead as if she was catatonic. They arrived about an hour later and took her back to Goulburn Police Station. Oh, yeah. Hey, I found a woman in my car. She doesn't know who she is and where she's from. Yeah, no worries. We'll get to that at some point. I'm sitting on the side of the road. Yeah, we'll get there. I reckon you're chucking the lights on and getting there.
Yeah, that one seems weird.
I don't know police business,
But it's
to be
not
honest,
like-
but
it's
feels
not-
like an hour.
It's not life-threatening, so it's not...
How do you know?
I know.
Well, who knows what they're up to?
Yeah.
Could have been lunch break time or
Could have been a
whatever.
murder that day.
There could have been multi
Yeah.
murders.
Who knows?
We just don't
Could
know.
have been a murder and
There's no
somebody
way to find out.
jaywalking.
Goulburn might be the Mount Thomas of New South Wales, you know.
Yes.
Mount Thomas being the fictional town
Well.
where Blue Hill is. Well, no, it's
Not
real in our hearts.
Yes,
but
thank you.
fictional in the real world, and it's like a town of 50 people where there was a
Just-
murder or big crime every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
or whenever the show aired.
Crazy. I wouldn't live there.
I'll be locking my door on Tuesday night.
Keith described Rihanna as a well-dressed young woman and says she offered to give me $50 for my trouble, but I said no thanks. I was just glad to help her. Mr. Whittaker said he had come forward to remind people to check unattended vehicles on returning to them.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I've never done that.
But I reckon you will every time now.
I will at least the next couple of
look in the
days.
back seat as
Yeah,
I
right.
get in the car.
Well, maybe I
do
should
it.
be doing that.
I'll do it.
I just have a little look.
Yeah.
Everything's normal.
Yeah, am I
Oh,
okay
the dog's
there?
still there. I've been shopping for hours. No, I don't do that.
And what do you do if you find someone there?
It hasn't happened, thankfully.
Okay.
But I guess run.
Yeah,
I'd
okay.
usually wait 20 minutes.
Yeah, then I'd run.
Then I'd say, are you
Everything-
okay?
To see the
Hello.
situation just resolves itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Whoa.
Yeah.
He sounds really nice.
does sound nice.
Great
on you,
work, Keith.
Yeah, good on you, Keith.
Sort of like, ages ago we were talking about how you always check your shoes if they're left outside for spiders?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never done that. And then I'm like,
you
I'll
only
start
need to
doing
find
that.
a spider once
And
to
I'll-
start doing that.
I feel like you'll squish them. So I guess maybe that's you being kind to the spider. You
No,
don't wanna
I'm not
squish
kind of
them.
the spider. I don't want a spider anywhere near me. Get away. Die. Ugh.
You're not one for the cup and paper
no.
trick?
My partner is, and that's what he does. And I'm like, kill it! Kill it!
How far away? It's got a scent for us. You
Well, he
better,
just sort of like-
you better drive it across town
He
before.
throws it out the front door, and I'm like, it's just going to come straight back in.
We have a nice place.
It's nice in here.
Why wouldn't he want to come back
enjoys
in?
the decor.
In the aftermath of all this, actually, just before this, while the sisters were still together, they reported their parents as missing to the police.
Oh, interesting.
So they report them as missing, and that's why the police go to search the Sylvan property, because their daughters they'd split off from their parents. They're obviously worried about them or whatever, and they reported them missing. So the police go to the Sylvan property. They're finding all the strange things, keys in the ignition.
And who's home when the cops get there? All the kids are back home by that point.
No one's home.
Oh, no one's
It's only
home.
the day. It's only the next day. They haven't had a chance to get home yet.
It's the next day. Ella arrives home in the stolen vehicle later in the day, and the cops are still there apparently.
She's like, hey.
Hey, this isn't stolen.
Yeah, this car, I've always owned this car. This is a silver Peugeot. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's different badges and colour. So
Okay.
it's not a wagon.
I customised
It's
it.
been customised.
Okay.
It's not illegal.
What are you doing in my house?
It's got a push button ignition. Gosh. It's something I did for it.
Wow.
Imagine doing that for a house. You just have a button instead of a keyhole.
That's good. To open that.
Yeah.
The whole thing opens.
Yeah, the whole house opens
Fuck
up.
yeah, that's
Every
great.
door.
Every door
Even the
opens.
cupboards.
Yeah.
Things fall out.
That is a great
I need
idea.
to think this through further, but it's I haven't thought of anything,
Yeah.
any sort of downside yet. So Ella and Rihanna are both charged with stealing the car.
Okay.
Because they stole the car,
Look, that's fair.
which was pretty clear.
Once this story sort of comes out, if you're that person whose car was stolen, would you be a bit like, whoop? Like, at least your car was stolen in a kind of cool story, you know? It wasn't just taken for a bit of a spin by 14-year-olds and then set on fire.
Yeah. And you get it back pretty soon.
It's done a few extra Ks, though.
Yeah.
That gets
Okay.
you closer to your next service.
Oh,
Bloody hell.
great. Throw in a
Great.
service and maybe we can come to an arrangement here.
Bit of petrol money wouldn't kill you. Bring it back with a full tank, would you?
Yeah, full tank and maybe a boot full of red currants. Hey?
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 Maybe a slab or two.
One per person.
One for me, one for my friend Barry.
So she talks to the cops as well. She cooperates with them. All right, let's go to the next day, Wednesday, August 31. The following morning, Mitchell arrives home, having caught a series of trains from Bathurst via Sydney.
So he left way sooner than his sister, but she made it back a lot faster.
Yeah.
How many trains has this guy's
Yeah.
caught?
And he's got no cards or anything on him, so how's he
So-
getting on the train?
Cash. So
Yeah.
they took cash with them. I think because it seemed like they were planning to just leave and not come back.
Wow.
So they just had cash. That's why Rihanna was offering $50.
Yeah, right.
Imagine picturing a big wad of cash.
She's got a massive wad of cash.
Just
She's
the
only
one?
offering you 50.
Yeah.
You're like, thanks. Don't you pity me? The disrespect.
So now Mitchell and Ella are back. They cooperate with police. Ella lets them know that the last she saw of her parents was at the Jenolan Caves. That had already been reported to the New South Wales Police, but they're communicating as well, Victoria and New South Wales Police. So the New South Wales Police have gone to the caves and searched the surrounding areas, but there is no trace of Kobe or Mark. There's no trace of them because they had already left the area, heading south again, crossing back over the Victorian border and arriving in Wangaratta, around 590 kilometres southwest of the Jenolan Caves.
Whoa.
So that's
Okay.
another big drive.
Yeah.
And they're really zigzagging now. a
Yeah,
bit.
it's interesting.
Basically dropped the kids off
Yeah.
up north and they've come back down.
I'm thinking keep going north. The weather gets nicer.
Yeah,
Beautiful beaches. Get into Queensland. Gorgeous.
sure.
Why are you going back into Victoria?
You got a problem with Wangaratta?
Not at all. I have a problem with Victoria.
Right. Well, that's where
Especially in August. It's cold.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Bloody lockdown state, am I right?
Head north.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're in Wangaratta, not too far from the ski fields there.
Yeah, it can be nice.
You know, there's some beautiful tourist spots around the place.
I'm just saying how I would road trip.
We know
it.
the Tromps love a tourist destination.
They love it. Yeah, you're right. But they could be heading for Hollywood on the Gold Coast.
Oh, that's true.
The ultimate
You get a
tourist
3-pass
destination.
super park.
Exactly.
3-pass.
3-pass super park. Yes.
3-park super pass. Jeez, that was whenever I heard that as a kid, my
Yeah.
ears pricked up. 3-park super pass.
You're like, that is a good deal.
Is that possible?
I don't know much, but I know that's a good deal.
And then can we add a 2-park super pass from Dreamworld and Wet Dreamworld?
Wet Dream World.
Is that what it's called? Wet Dreamworld?
Mm-hmm. Wet Dream World.
Yeah. Oh my god, I did not even use. Is that why you were
That was-
saying it to me like
Funny watching you work that out.
so many of the things that seem like I'm making a pun is that fully unintentional. All right. I again got stuck in a little rabbit hole.
For Wangaratta?
Wangaratta. Because I'm like, Wangaratta, I know Nick Cave lived there.
Oh, yeah.
He was born in Warwick-Nabil, but I know he lived some of his early years in Nick
In Nick Cave.
in Nick Cave.
Is that what they're doing? Are they touring the best
Mate.
caves of Australia?
That's true. They're
Including
going from the Tower Cave.
hometown of Nick Cave.
You are good. You're piecing this together. But yeah, there's a big mural of Nick Cave there in Wangaratta, I believe. But I'm like, I wonder if there's any other notable residents of Wangaratta. So I'm looking that up. Turns out Aussie war hero Sir Weary Dunlop was born there. You familiar with?
Yeah, I know Weary Dunlop.
And so you probably, I was going to say this might be interesting for some listeners who don't know him. You know where he got the nickname? Classic sort of like 2 degrees of separation punish nickname
What?
on Dunlop is a brand of tyres. Tired, weary. That's how he got
That's
his nickname.
good.
Yeah, it's like on
That's
the edge
good
of
stuff.
good and awful.
I love it.
Yeah, right.
Big fan. Love
But
that.
it's funny, like we all know him as Weary Dunlop, and that
Yeah.
was just because his name was also a brand name for tyres.
Love that. Huge fan. Oh my God, I cannot get over that. That is so good.
Something I didn't know.
Weary.
Another word for tired.
That's amazing.
Something I didn't know about him was he grew up playing Aussie rules football, but then took up rugby union in 1931. You're the big union fan, rugby fan of the pod, Bob. Do you know this about him?
No, I didn't actually.
So this is wild to me. Just a brief detour here. Much like we're on our own road trip. We're going past and there's a signpost saying, Weary Dunlop fact. I'm like, oh, guys, mind if we just turn off here for a quick...
Have a look at a fact.
Maybe we could get a Neenish tart and a pie.
Oh my God, yum.
Oh, I'm listening.
So he grew up playing Aussie rules football, Victorian, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he took up rugby union in 1931 as a 24-year-old, playing for the Melbourne Uni 4th grade team. You know, pretty low level rugby. But he quickly progressed through the grades. Obviously, he was pretty handy. Worked his way up 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade. Then he made the state team and finally the national team.
What?
In 1932, he played for the Wallabies.
Wow.
He played in 1931, 4th grade, first time. In 1932, he played for Australia. Isn't that
Wow.
wild? I've never heard of anything like that.
Is it just sort of like one of those things where you're like, I haven't really played a lot of rugby, and they go, look, mate, we'll start you in the 4s.
Yeah.
You'll be right. You'll pick it up. And then they see him play and go, yeah, we're going to have to bump him up.
Yep. All right, bump him up again.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah, actually, no, none of these are quite good enough.
Can we create a new level, like like some sort of a intergalactic level for him
He's
to
actually
play?
a little too good for the Wallabies. That's amazing. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a war hero. But also, I just didn't know he played for the Wallabies at all, let alone that sort of meteoric rise. He was the first Victorian player to represent the Wallabies. He was part of the first Aussie squad to win the Bledisloe Cup off New Zealand.
Cool.
And he remains the only Victorian to have been inducted into the Australian Rugby Union Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Wild
The
stuff.
only Victorian.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
That's incredible. What a great little, side street we just took
Yeah.
on our road trip.
Anyway, let's head back.
That was worth it. That
Jump
was
back
worth
on
it.
the Hume.
I know when we were on the Hume and I was like, it says it's a few Ks off the Hume and I don't want to detour that far. I was wrong. That was worth it. That
The
was
sign said, Australia's best pie.
yeah, it was a worthy detour. Dave's happy he's got a pie.
Oh, it was so good.
We've got a little fact.
I didn't hear anything you just said.
Did you get me any sweet treats from the bakery?
Oh, yeah.
Get
What'd
me
you
a
get?
nippies.
What'd you get?
I got a range of tarts. We've got custard, jelly, and other.
Oh, I'll have other. An other tart, please.
I reckon people who've tuned in going, I'm finally so glad to hear this story of the Tromps. They'll be loving this.
Yeah.
They'll be loving these detours.
Yeah.
They will not at all be getting frustrated or be yelling at their iPods.
Hey, it's a new year. We're feeling a little loose, a little silly. We've just come back from holidays.
Well, yeah, I know you're used to us being the podcast who stays on topic, just gets the facts out. But we're trying something different this time.
We're just having a bit of fun.
Sorry if you're getting a little weary of these stories, but
you know, Dave, it's interesting you say that.
All right, let's get back to the Tromps. So Kobe and Mark arrive in Wangaratta, home of Weary Dunlop, by the way.
Only Victorian to be
Nick
inducted
Cave.
into the Rugby Hall of Fame.
So anyway, Kobe and Mark arrive in Wangaratta. Soon after, for the final time, they split the party again.
Oh my God.
No.
So
They
they've
split
split
up.
every possible combination.
Whoa.
They started out as a fivesome and they've ended up as 5 singles. Kobe leaves Mark and travels back up north to Yass.
Yes.
Around Yass.
has she taken the Peugeot?
No, she's taken the public transport.
Oof. The people's Peugeot.
Yeah. Yass is about 350 kilometres away. It's not known why they split up or why Kobe heads back north again. Possibly because she knows she believes her daughters are up in that direction.
Yeah.
Maybe she's like, actually, I want to go back and catch up with them again.
Can't call them.
No, exactly. They don't know how she got there, but it was probably train and bus or a combination. That evening, after 10 p.m, a young couple are out playing Pokemon Go in Wangaratta. This
There you
dates
go.
this
That
nicely.
answers your earlier
I
question.
was wondering if you would have remembered that because it was hot at the time.
Oh my God.
There
It
was
was,
a period where
wild.
it was all. You go anywhere around Melbourne. There'd be clumps of people.
It was dangerous. People were like getting hurt.
Yeah, there were periods where people were like falling off cliffs and stuff because they weren't looking. They're like, oh, well, there's a Jigglypuff over here. Oh no! Seriously.
Generations from now, you go, yeah, I lost my granddad in the Pokemon Go disaster of 2016.
And you just go I remember I didn't actually see that, but I was working at the project at the time because I remember videos coming in of people, like adults gathered at playgrounds at midnight and there'd be like 300 people there all playing Pokemon Go.
Right.
It's just wild.
So
If
strange.
you were working this week, the project would have definitely been all over this Tromp story. I think it was. By this point, it's all over the media.
Yeah.
Media becomes obsessed with it. It's making front pages.
But did you say August 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Europe at that
Yeah.
time.
Oh, there
I
you
remember.
go.
Yeah, 2 months in Europe.
All right, mate.
This guy.
Remember?
Oh, I've travelled. Get it. Oh, I'm a virgin in Europe. We got it.
That's what I
How
called.
did we do the podcast?
That's what I called the
Did
two.
we bank a heap of them?
I think that's the only time I've missed 2 episodes.
Oh, that's yeah.
Ah.
Well, I think we started a rumor you'd gone for some sort of a camp
Jesus
with the topic that. It's the thing we don't really talk about anymore.
'Cause
Long
it's-
listeners will know what we're referencing there.
It since got out of hand and I was
Long listeners, people who are
Long lists.
tall.
drawn into some very upsetting memes. So
Yeah.
it was
so
just stopped
we'll
being
put a
funny.
little stop to that one.
Upsetting memes.
Stuff that if you saw it without the context of the podcast, you'd be like, Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what started happening when people Googled your name in image search.
So, yeah. We don't make that joke anymore.
Anyway, so
All right, I've got to say, it was Nazis. Just in case, in case you're imagining it even worse than... I mean, it's hard to imagine, but there is
Even
probably
worse.
stuff.
just in case you were thinking of something really bad, it was just
Just in
Nazis
case
is
you were
what
like,
he's saying.
oh, were they spreading rumors that Dave was a feminist or something terrible like that? No, Nazis. Don't worry about it. It was fine.
Anyway,
I was just panicking that I'm like, imagine what people are imagining.
yeah, you don't need that.
No.
You don't need to leave it up to people's imagination.
Because it,
Not our listeners.
No.
I don't know how dark you're getting out there.
Bunch of freaks.
So Kobe's headed back up north to Yass. But that evening, after 10 p.m, young couple were out playing Pokemon Go in Wangaratta when they notice they're being stalked by a silver Peugeot station wagon.
Oh my god, someone's trying to steal their Magikarp. This is our Magikarp! Piss off!
One of the Pokemon Go players spoke to the Age newspaper on condition of anonymity, saying, I could barely see his headlights because he was that close to my car. Just up, like real tailgating, like bumper to bumper sort of stuff. Whenever they pull over, the Peugeot stops right behind them. When they go, the Peugeot follows close behind again.
Being really subtle.
Yeah. When they stop for the final time, a man, believed to be Mark Tromp, gets out of his car and runs towards them.
Fucking hell.
He then stops in the middle of the road and stares before turning and walking to Wangaratta's Merriwa Park, disappearing into the darkness. Police later search the park but are unable to find Tromp. They do find the Peugeot with its keys still in the ignition.
Of course.
Classic.
It's their calling card.
Where else did you put it?
That is terrifying. That is so scary. Obviously, you don't know who this man is and that something has happened and he's not very well. Like, that's fucking scary. Oh, my God. Ugh.
Yeah. See, yeah, very, very creepy.
I don't like that at all.
They also believe Trump has changed his clothes at this point. I don't know why they made that point in one of the articles. But,
Okay.
I guess it's good to know that he's
Was he like
keeping up with fashion trends.
wearing a tuxedo or something? So it was
Yeah.
notable that he was
Yeah.
wearing
Yeah, it
something
was
different.
weird.
The following day, Thursday, September the 1st, around noon, Kobe is seen wandering the streets of Yass in an agitated state. Soon after, she was admitted to a hospital there. According to the Daily Mail, after being admitted, staff recognised her from media reports about her disappearance and called police. Sergeant Mark Knight said doctors at the hospital had assessed Mrs. Tromp about her mental health, and it wasn't of a good standard. That's a quote from Sergeant Knight. Wasn't of a good standard. He added it was the most baffling case he had dealt with in more than 30 years on the force. I believe from there, Kobe reunited with her eldest daughter, Rihanna, at a mental health facility for treatment. I think that was in Goulburn.
Wow.
All right, next day, Friday, September the 2nd. That following morning, Mitchell appears on the Today Show, hoping to get his dad home safe. So now it's only Mark who is unaccounted for.
All right.
Last he was seen, is believed to be running into that park in Wangaratta.
Does he know his dad's a big fan of Carl Stefanovic? So
Yes.
he's tuning in every morning
That's
to
right.
watch the Today Show.
That might have been it, yeah.
And Mitchell's well enough to appear on TV and...
Yes, well, it seems like Mitchell of the family was the least affected by whatever's happened here.
Wow.
He was the one who brought his phone.
Yeah.
He was
He went back
he almost
first.
went along because he said that he was worried. He just wanted to see where they were going and stuff. So yeah, it makes sense that he'd be the one
Yeah.
talking to the media. He's asked why his dad might not want to return home, and Mitchell replies, he's scared that people are after him. He's not in a good state of mind. It remains unclear who these people might have been. Mitchell continues, I've never seen anything like it. It's really hard to explain or put a word on it, but they were just fearing for their lives, and then they decided to flee. I've never seen my parents or anyone go to this extreme. It's nothing I've ever dealt with before, but I've had a lot of family support around me lately, and hopefully some good comes out of this, and my dad comes home and he's safe and well. At around 9:30 a.m, the owners of the Miller's Cottage Motel in Wangaratta found one of their rooms had been broken into. The door had been left ajar, the bathroom seemed to have been used, and the bed slept in. There was also a muesli bar wrapper on the floor.
Okay.
Dead giveaway.
He's had a snack.
Yep.
This is a sign. And when it says bathroom is used, has he failed to flush?
Well, it said seemed to have been used, so I'm guessing there's just a few droplets of water in the shower.
You
or
know
something.
those old school motels where they'd put like a paper seal on the toilet?
Yeah, there was a
That's
shit
how.
on that.
He could not open it.
He couldn't work it out. How do I get this seal
He
off?
just shat on top of it. And look, I get it.
And they're like, I think a human might have been in here. Not sure though.
Can't be sure,
We'll send it
but
off to the lab.
it's just a theory I have.
This same day, an article about the Tromps is published in The Age. In it, he says of... this same day, an article about the Tromps is published in The Age. In it, saying, it says of the case, Sergeant Mark Knight of Mumbolk knows the family and says they have no diagnosed mental health problems or drug issues. No one in the family is accessed.
Access.
Jeez, I'm struggling with some basic words. No one in the family had accessed a doctor or psychologist recently, which seems like wild information to be giving the public. Or been issued a prescription, he says. They do not belong to any churches or sects and do not have any debts. He's baffled.
Okay.
On Saturday, next day, Saturday, September the 3rd at 5:50 p.m, Tromp is seen walking along the side of a road near Wangaratta Airport. He's picked up and escorted back to the Wangaratta police station where he's interviewed and after about 5 hours released. A family member collects him from the station amongst a throng of waiting media. Possibly it was his brother's a cop back home in Victoria. It was possibly, I read somewhere that it might have been him who was looking after him. So the media's there waiting, asking questions and stuff. He flips him the bird.
Classic.
Mitchell and Ella speak to the media from their home in Sylvan, letting them know they appreciate everyone's concern. According to a news.com article from the time, Mitchell said he did not feel in danger when he joined the family trip. Quote, I had to go with the family because I wanted to see where they were going. I couldn't leave them. But yeah, it was tough to see your family like that, and I've never seen anyone like it. Asked what triggered the trip, Ella said, it is very confusing. I still feel confused. I think our state of minds wasn't in the best place, and there's no one reason for it. It's bizarre. So he was sort of swept up in it, but isn't really sure what happened.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to be in the middle of it and like something was going on, but I don't even really know what it was.
Yeah.
And this is after a few days of being able to process it, still unsure. Mitchell said all he felt was relief and that morning was the first time he hadn't woken up crying in a few days.
Wow.
In hindsight, I should have stayed with him, Mitchell said of his decision to be the first to separate from the family. The siblings were reluctant to expand further on details, saying police are still investigating. More than anything, we are just happy that Dad's alive and he's going to come back home and all the family is going to come back home and we can get back to normal, Ella said. They're also really excited because I don't know if it was that week or in the coming weeks it was Father's Day. So they're like, oh, so glad to have Dad back for Father's Day.
That's nice.
Asked again by a journalist if he knew what sparked the incident, Mitchell Tromp said there were a few things, but nothing he could state for sure, saying, there are possible things, but I can't say at this stage because I'm not certain. I can see why the public want to know, but it's a family matter and we just want the family to be back together and for everything to work itself out, and I think it will. So he's like suggesting that there's something, but he says he can't say what it is, and that's still not clear what those things were because they've been very private about it ever since. In the following days, Rihanna and Kobe were released from their treatment facility and the families is all reunited and heads back to the farm, and by the sounds of it, have gotten their life back to normal as they were hoping. So what happened?
Yeah.
It's still unclear.
Okay.
But there's theories, some seemingly more solid than others, but let's go through a few of them. One of the prominent theories at the time was that the family had been affected by chemicals used on the farm, or perhaps their water supply had been affected by a toxin somehow, and that led to a collective paranoia. This seems to have been ruled out, though, after an inspection of the farm found no traces of anything sus like that.
Yeah, that was my sort of... I was like, gas leak. Always think gas leak.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would sort of make sense, but if that...
Apparently it's been ruled out,
yeah.
But I mean, I'm not willing to rule anything in or out right now.
I think that's wise.
Another theory is that the family owed some bad people money and were fleeing from them, which might explain why they had been sorting through their financial records before suddenly leaving the house.
As they realised, oh no, we don't have any money.
Yeah. Apart from this cash that we're leaving with. This was also ruled out by authorities who said the family businesses were all profitable and they weren't in any financial stress, though some argue that there could have been other unknown debts that the cops don't know about. but there doesn't seem to be any evidence of this. But who knows? But
we have seen that they have withdrawn $50,000, and there does appear to be a $50,000 credit in a bank account of a known mob boss, but we cannot be sure.
And we did find Keith's head in the bed.
As Keith's a horse.
Others have suggested that they were involved in some sort of a cult and were attempting to flee, but you heard the policeman Knight, who knew the family quite well, saying it was trying to dispel that to the media, saying they're not involved in any cults or religious organisations, because that was a rumour or a theory that was sort of spreading around.
That's interesting.
Because it really caught the nation's attention at the time, and so everyone had their theory. And maybe part of it's why they're like, hey, this is a family matter, just leave us alone. They were being pretty respectful. Yeah. Apart from when Mark flipped them the bird. He later sort of apologised for that.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Sorry about that, guys.
When you say sort of apologise.
Well, I didn't say, I'm sorry that I flipped you the bird. He said something like, I really appreciate everyone's concern, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I went to give a thumbs up. I put the wrong finger up and it was too late. The car was gone. I was like, oh no.
Oh dear, what have I done?
I said to the driver, do a U-turn. They refused.
I went to do this, give you a thumbs up, and then one of these to show you my wedding ring.
I've never had great dexterity or control of my digits. I apologise.
So yeah, there's a few of the vaguely believable ones. Yeah. Then there's ones that are even more believable, such as...
More people.
There are some, and you still see them commenting on clips or threads online, saying that it seems to point pretty clearly to an alien encounter.
Yeah.
I
think that's pretty clear.
They don't extrapolate a lot from that, but I think you sort of can
your tone
join
is
the dots there.
Sounding almost sarcastic. But this...
that's very flattering to suggest I have more than one tone. But
this is number one theory, aliens.
Yeah. I agree. That's the only thing I was thinking that this whole time. I've just been thinking alien encounter.
Aliens.
Well, now, how does the aliens play into this? What do you think's happened there?
Buzzed them.
Yep.
Alien came down and went buzz.
Aliens have said, what we need you to do is go to a big cave and then visit the home of Nick Cave and then split the party. And they did exactly that.
They did everything they were instructed to.
Well, if that... Yeah, no, I hadn't really... Now that you've said it like that, that does make a lot more sense.
Here's what happened. So, aliens come down. They're like, hello, we're aliens. I know this can be a little confronting for you. We are super friendly, stoked to be here. As a gesture, we would love to invite you to our spaceship for dinner. And the family were like, that's actually really nice. Let's go. So off they go. Nobody at the time realised that human stomachs cannot process alien food.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
It's just food poisoning. It's made them a bit loopy.
Okay. And it wears off. And
of course they're being secretive because I don't want to give away the aliens because not everybody's going to be so welcoming.
Yeah, that's true. You know what the feds are like.
They're always like, oh, I'll get these aliens. And it's like,
Fox Mulder's sort of the exception, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's a lot more Scullys than Mulders, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So that's one of the more believable theories. Also, another one that I think is pretty solid would be that demonic possession was involved.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I confused my theory. I actually think this is right.
Yeah, okay. So maybe Mark
is a demon.
Well, has been possessed.
At the very least.
By a demon. And then, and you know what demons are like? Yeah. Love a road trip.
They love road trips.
They love caves.
Yeah.
Yes.
They love the Prince of Darkness, Nick Cave.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
This makes sense.
So that one, I mean, I don't have to go into that too much, but I think that one obviously is I'll put that in the maybe pile. But the most persistent theory, and this is the one that if this was solved, this is what people would say is this is the truth. Okay. I mean, the alien people would also say they've solved it with their theory. But most persistent theory is that the family was suffering from a shared psychotic disorder, also known as a folie à deux, which I think is French for madness of two.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Am I saying deux right?
Oh, yeah.
According to a US government health website, the term folie à deux includes several syndromes in which mental symptoms, particularly paranoid delusions, are transmitted from one person to one or more others with whom the apparent instigator is in some way intimately associated, so that he or she and they come to share the same delusional ideas. Although this condition involves two people, it can extend from the original subject to 3, 4, or 5 persons, aka folie à trois, folie à quatre, folie à cinque, or even a whole family, folie à family. Which I guess is what's happening in this case. Even though it's all what people talk about, always say folie à deux.
Yeah.
But apologies to the French listeners. I know that this would be making you yell at your iPods right now. An exact figure for the incidence and prevalence of a folie à deux is not available. It is certainly more common in isolated communities and families where there is a great urge to defend the status quo. So, I mean, isolated families, they're a family on a farm working 7 days a week together.
Yeah, all very close.
Very insular world they've created.
Yeah.
According to this great compendium, I found wikipedia.org. Are you familiar with this?
Is that a French website?
Yeah, I think it's actually a French website mainly about French psychiatric disorders and these sort of things.
Oh, that's really niche.
Yeah, it is pretty niche, but it's pretty in depth in that niche, which is the internet's got the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So check it out if you're interested in those sort of things. Wikipedia.org writes, while the exact causes of shared delusional disorder are unknown, the main two contributors are stress and social isolation. So potentially both of those are ticked. People who are socially isolated together tend to become dependent on those they are with, leading to an inducer's influence on those around them. Additionally, people developing shared delusional disorder do not have others reminding them that their delusions are either impossible or unlikely. You know, if you're going out and you're working with different groups and then socializing with another group, you're probably talking about these things and they're going, oh, no, it's pretty unlikely that people are after you or whatever.
It's pretty unlikely aliens are after you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Because of this, treatment for shared delusional disorder includes those affected be removed from the inducer. Stress is also a factor because it triggers mental illness. The majority of people that develop shared delusional disorder are genetically predisposed to mental illness, but this predisposition is not enough to develop a mental disorder. However, stress can increase the risk of this disorder. When stressed, an individual's adrenal gland releases the stress hormone, cortisol, into the body, increasing the brain's level of dopamine. This change can be linked to the development of a mental illness such as a shared delusional disorder. So then this kind of seems to add up. I haven't talked about that much, but the kids did say that their dad, Mark, was getting increasingly stressed in the lead up to the event. So it makes sense maybe that Mark started to believe people were after his money and his family. Slowly this idea was passed on to his partner, Kobe. And then it seems Rihanna was the next most affected, and then maybe to a lesser extent on Ella, and then not so much on a Mitchell, but...
Mitchell's always on his phone.
He's on his phone playing Angry Birds.
Yeah, that's right.
What did you say?
And the bloody old people like, the kids these days are always on their phones. Well, it just saved Mitchell's life.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all working like 7 days a week's hectic. You know, there's only... I know the Beatles will tell you otherwise, but there are only 7 days a week. So that's all of them. And that, you know, there's no outside, well, few outside influences.
Well, was it Jack Nicholson? All work and no play.
Yes. Go on.
You know the rest.
Since the incident, the Tromps have returned to their farm life and have kept a low profile, and it seems like life has returned to normal. No criminal charges came about from the road trip after Rihanna and Ella's car theft charges were dropped.
Okay.
And I think the person whose car it was seemed to be okay with that.
Oh, that's nice.
In 2017, a year after their infamous road trip, Rihanna spoke briefly with Woman's Day magazine and added weight to the whole folie à deux theory. News.com summarised saying, Miss Tromp told Woman's Day, "We're all very embarrassed. We didn't want to be famous. That's for famous people."
So true.
Don't you reckon?
So well
Fame's
said.
for the famous. They can keep it.
Yeah. I've always said that.
But I think maybe this was possibly in response to some people were like, oh, this just seems like like, you know how cynical some people are? Oh, yeah, this is just, they're looking for attention.
Here we go. They just want to be on Celebrity Big Brother. We know it. We know what they're doing.
They want to go on Family Feud with Grant Denyer.
They're like, no, we didn't want, like, what a wild way to go about it.
Yeah.
Miss Tromp said her father had been suffering from a mental breakdown, which she now realises had been building for some time. She said part of the reason he decided to leave the farm was because he felt like he was in danger, but also because he wanted to spend time as a family. In the interview, Miss Tromp said she did start believing her father's claims that the family were in danger. She said she believes it was the build-up of stress that caused the incident. You have a few things and they do build up. You can get sick in some way, she said. So she was really... I mean, it ended up with her jumping into a guy's ute.
Yeah.
She didn't, you know...
Yeah.
And then not forgetting her name, and amazing. This all started from her dad believing that people were after him. It's
incredible, isn't it?
So that seems like what it was, and but I mean, people still do talk about it, as you know, the internet will do that, aliens and whatnot. But it seems like that's the one that makes the most sense. I hadn't heard of this folie à deux, but I'm going to finish with a few examples of it happening in other cases. So many of the examples I found ended up with grisly murders, unfortunately, like a lot, you know, like people being brought along and then believing a delusion, and then but I'm going to give you 3 examples off this website I just mentioned before, but I should give it another plug, wikipedia.org.
Oh, yep.
But these are the examples
that was
up
one
on
of French psychiatric disorders.
Yes, which is
great.
why they have quite a few examples about
awesome.
folie à deux.
Is it in French?
I think the internet automatically translates it.
Oh, that is so good.
Either the internet does or my brain does. Is that possible that I can read French and I'm just...
It's not impossible.
Okay. Yeah, well, so I can't say definitively either way.
Yeah, fair enough.
It possibly is in French, and I can just read French.
Yeah, cool.
And translate it into English.
That's amazing.
Well, it is if it's true.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked if that is the case.
That'd be so handy, actually.
So the first one does end grisly, but the other 2 don't. It's not so much. In May, this one potentially could be a tone bonus report at some point, but very briefly, in May 2008, there was a case with twin sisters Ursula and Sabina Erickson. Ursula ran into the path of an oncoming truck, sustaining severe injuries. Sabina, her twin, then immediately duplicated her twin's action by stepping into the path of an oncoming car. This is on film. Like, it was played on one of those, like, police traffic reality shows in England.
That sounds a bit full on.
Both sisters survived the incident with severe but non-life-threatening injuries. It was later claimed that Sabina Erickson was a secondary sufferer of folie à deux, influenced by the presence of her sister Ursula, who was the primary. Sabina later told an officer at the station, "We say in Sweden that an accident rarely comes alone. Usually at least one more follows, maybe 2," which is very ominous.
Ooh.
She was then released from hospital, behaved erratically before stabbing a man to death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's a full-on story. There's more to it, but so that's one example. The next one,
fuck.
Yeah,
that's fun.
You're not wrong. That was a grisly one.
I said wow, but I meant wow in like a bad way.
Holy fuck!
Like wow. I'm shaking my head as I say it. You
know. The next one we're kind of familiar with. In the book Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup suggests that this ailment plagued the founder of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, and her boyfriend/business partner Ramesh Balwani. Can't remember if Naomi mentioned that, but yeah, supposedly that was something. Maybe that's at least what one theory is about what was going on with them, was that maybe they were sort of feeding this delusion. I don't know if that's suggesting that they believed that this all worked, because in that story it was pretty clear that they
knew it wasn't
cutting
working.
corners and they were lying about it. The Tromps are also now featured on this wiki page as an example, as well as a bunch of other grim ones. And there's some ones not on wiki that were equally just real sad. And the last one I'll tell you about is not so grim, and I think it's the case that actually helped. They coined the term over. So I think it happened in France. I think it wasn't in the 1800s. I think it was a while back anyway. And it was, briefly, a married couple by the name of Margaret and Michael were both aged 34 years, and they were discovered to be suffering from a folie à deux when they were both found to be sharing similar delusions. They believed that certain people were entering their house, spreading dust and fluff, and wearing down their shoes, like wearing the soles of their shoes down. Both had, in addition, other symptoms supporting a diagnosis of emotional contagion, which could be made independently in either case. So that's, I mean, it's all
a little more harmless.
Sad, but yeah, it's all sad, but it's still like...
But isn't that amazing that our bodies can do that?
Yeah, I know. It's
they can
not
pick
just
up on what somebody else's body is doing.
Ideas can be kind of contagious.
Yeah.
Which is very fascinating.
Amazing.
And I guess
only with people that you're like very, very close to. And that's why I keep everyone at a distance.
Yes.
In case.
I will not succumb.
Folie à deux.
Safety first.
You guys don't even know my real name.
Duh.
De Perkins.
But I have been wearing your shoes whilst you sleep. Wearing them down.
Spreading dust.
And fluff.
Yeah. So wait, I mean, obviously it's ridiculous we do this all the time with the mystery ones, and it's ridiculous that you've heard my brief version of this story. Do you have does it give you any instinct to what you think might have been the case?
Yeah, it felt like some sort of folie à deux.
Yeah.
Or I would have been leaning towards like toxins or something affecting them that way. But then you would kind of think once you move away from it and you're not drinking that water, for example, maybe it would wear off fairly quickly. But weren't they saying that like the way to get over this is to remove them from like the source? So would that be just like separate the family for a bit? Yes,
which they... Doesn't sound like they've done, but it sounds like they've had a lot of support come in, like their extended family and stuff. They're all looking after each other now. That I think once you're aware of something like this, it probably makes it easier to break the cycle of it or whatever.
And if splitting everyone up is like the best way to do it, splitting the party sounds like that was actually the way to sort of everyone one by one they realise, hang on, what's going on?
Which sort of makes sense as to why they would start breaking off, like, oh, this is a bit much, I need to get but then Mitchell later goes, oh, I really should have stayed and tried to...
I know, but you think about that, maybe they would have just fed each other's delusion.
Exactly,
that's right. And maybe done something
he probably did the right thing by going and leaving.
And it all did end up happily in the end, which
I thought you were going to tell us that Mark especially died. I thought the mystery was going to be what happened to him. Where's his body or something? But so that's really a welcome relief.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's rare that these kind of stories end like that, because if it did go missing, you'd still be like, he wouldn't have been around to go, no, I didn't owe anyone money.
Well, that's because you kept saying stuff like, it's believed, we're not sure why, and I'm thinking that means one of them's gone. But it's just because they were in a different state. They can't answer the question.
And now have been very private about it.
Yeah.
Like that very short interview with Woman's Day. You know,
understandable being private about it, I guess.
100%. I would have done the same thing.
But then if you're private about it, you're not going to get on Celebrity Big Brother or Family Feud.
That's true. So it is a really, win-lose scenario.
They've really wasted that opportunity.
Yeah.
We'd kill to be on Celebrity Big Brother.
And sometimes that's what it takes. All right. Well,
a great report, I've got to say. I didn't know about that story. I was just out of overseas for the right amount of weeks, so I wasn't across that story at all. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think I don't really follow the news that much.
Nah, I definitely heard about it more after the fact.
Right.
I don't remember, seeing it reported on at the time.
Because you wake up with Carl most days, don't you?
I wake up with Carl. Oh yeah.
And whoever the co-host is.
Yeah, whoever it is.
At the time, it would have been Lisa Wilkinson.
It's not even Carl anymore, is it? Yeah. Is Carl gone?
Carl's never known. He's back on the Today Show.
Oh, okay.
Carl's back.
Good for Carl.
Carl's back.
he's charming. He's a larrikin. Good on him.
He wore the same suit for a year one time.
As
no
a
one
statement.
noticed. It was a feminist statement. And I'm like, ooh, stepping on my toes a bit there, buddy boy.
Back off,
Back
Carl.
off. You don't lean in, the ladies lean
That's
in.
why
Like,
you've
that's
worn
what I say.
the same clothes every day.
Yeah, I stink for feminism.
Yeah, and as a feminist,
I reek of feminism.
I appreciate it.
You're a feminist too?
Well, I'm a feminine.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you better not step on my fucking
No,
toes.
I wouldn't dare. There's only room for one on this podcast.
Yeah. This isn't the kind of thing where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm going to make room for you, Jess.
Yeah. No.
I'm making room for me, the feminist of
Yes.
the program.
Yeah.
The program.
And I'm sorry that I take up so much space.
Do you remember Do Go On? Well, it's back in program form. That's not anything. All right, so that brings us to everyone's favourite section of the program, where we thank a few of our great supporters. You can become a supporter if you like by going to patreon.com/dogoonpod or dogoonpod.com. Links in the show notes. Very easy and clickable if that's what you like.
Click the shit out of them.
Click the shit. Hey, hit that link. Oh, I'm losing it. So, the first thing we like to do when thanking our supporters is the fact, quote, or question section, which I think has a little jingle that goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
Ding. Always
Brag or
remembers the
suggestion.
ding. Always remembers the ding. And always remembers the fact, the last bit there sometimes. So the way this works is you sign up on one of those websites at the Sydney Scheinberg level and you get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. And then you get to give yourself a title. I read them all out. On that level, you pretty much get all the rewards. You get the bonus episodes, 3 bonus a month. We're up to over 130 up there now. You get access to all of those instantly.
So many.
Too many.
Wonderful moments.
Some of our best.
Yeah. Best moments.
Some of our best moments.
Honestly, we do have a good time on there.
We do. It's when we stop being serious and we get a bit silly.
Yeah, I love it when we're a bit silly. My favourite parts of our days, though, is lunch.
Oh, how good is lunch?
We're coming up to it.
That's a good point. You saying we should hurry up?
Hurry up and feed me.
So the
The
first
red
one.
zone, and you know what that means.
Oh, all right. Double time.
Anyway, we're going to thank these people.
First up, we got Matthew Bohr, who's given himself the title of Champion of Whispering Nice Words of Encouragement into an iPod.
Yes, Matthew. Thank you.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you so much, Matthew.
Do you guys ever just sort of have a feeling every now and then, just a warm feeling?
Yeah.
I think that's Matthew.
Matthew.
Oh, I thought it was piss.
No, Dave, for you it is, but it's more of a feeling in your heart. Do you ever have that?
Yeah.
Feeling in your pants, that's piss.
Matthew, anything but a bore is what I call him.
Oh my God, that's good.
Matthew has given us a brag.
Yes, hit us.
Matthew writes, "Hey guys, I've been on the Patreon for a couple of years now. I guess that could be my brag. And I thought I would use the opportunity to instead brag on you. If not allowed, please just have a very long, awkward pause."
Okay, brag on us.
Well, I don't read these until I read them.
Yeah.
So if
Let's
there's-
find out.
Yeah,
If
let's
at
find-
any point any of us want it to stop, we just yell stop and then we all have to be silent.
Okay, and then we pause. Or yeah,
That's the-
and then
that's-
I'll go pause.
Yeah.
That's fun.
All right. Matthew continues. After seeing the pod suggested on the Weekly Planet, I decided to give Do Go On a listen while on a long road trip.
Road trip.
After 30 minutes of trying to figure out who was Dave and who was Matt in the little bubble photo, I quickly became hooked. And after finishing the episode, maybe the Sealand one, I loaded up 3 more for the return trip. After pulling over the car from tears of laughter at the Mr. Hands segment in the Wild Deaths episode, I knew I would be firmly on the Do Go On train. Oh, imagine that. We're literally on a beach when we were talking about
Yeah.
Mr. Hands.
Imagine that being one of the first episodes you hear of us.
Everything would feel a bit tame after that.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, these guys are vanilla.
I
Are
still
they?
think about how we were on that beach in front of a resort in Thailand, broadcasting out loud with a PA system,
Yeah.
talking about Mr. Hands, the guy having sex with a horse, and then there's people who have paid obviously a lot to have the beachfront cabins.
Yeah.
They can probably hear the episode on their entire holiday.
What about the people behind us who were having dinner on the beach? Remember that setup every time?
Probably going, what's happening?
What's going on?
We did a stand-up show as well on the beach, and it started raining. And Tommy and Carl came to like relieve me because I was on stage as it started to rain, but I was doing well. And I said, "Don't you fucking come out here." If I was doing badly, it would have been like, "Oh, I got to stop the rain."
I want to go
I
on.
want to keep going, man.
I'd love to go on.
God, you know.
Sorry, everyone.
Don't you dare come out here.
That's so good. That was a good night.
That was a great night.
Anyway, Matthew goes on. Over the past couple of years, you three have played on the way to some of my greatest adventures and also some of the hardest drives. In the background at work and in studying breaks while retraining jobs. What a funny idea to think of work as I'm retaining my job again today. I show up to retain
Here
it.
I am, retaining.
While retraining jobs. Pre-COVID and post-COVID, all throughout, you three and the pod have brought a lot of joy in my life, sometimes when I needed it most. I know I'm not unique in this, as so many Patreon supporters have had the same experience, but I just wanted to take the time to in some way thank you from all of us. You have truly created something more than just another podcast, and I hope you know the impact you all have to those who listen. Do go on doing what you're doing. I'm slightly embarrassed reading that out, to be honest.
Oh my God, that is...
That's so lovely.
Nice.
Thank you, Matthew Bohr. I don't
is
think
really
you know what
nice.
a brag is, but fact, quote, a question, compliment, or suggestion.
We will not accept compliments. That is so lovely. Thank you for that. I think, because a lot of what we do is not on purpose in terms of like, we're just three friends who find each other funny. There's not a lot of like, I don't know, scheming behind the scenes of like, what are they like? Let's give them that. We just enjoy each other's company. So that's really nice that you've enjoyed it
Not
too.
a lot of scheming. Obviously, we do a little scheming.
Just one simply must
you must scheme.
scheme.
Oh, that is so nice, though.
That is
wow.
so lovely. Thank
He's
you.
not even finished. He's got a line for each of us by the looks of it here. Dave, with the report cadence of a seasoned Dateline reporter, many a report finished while in the driveway after being parked for 30 minutes. Jess, when giving reports on an inspiring person, making you believe in humanity and want to be a better person yourself. Matt, even given the most gruesome reports, finding a way to find the humanity in the story and injecting humour. Bloody hell,
That's
Matthew.
so nice.
Wow.
Thank you, Matthew. That's really
really
sweet.
appreciate that.
Now let's get on to somebody just giving us a fact about cum or something.
Yeah, yeah, we need a cleanser. I don't know where you're from, Matthew, but Australia doesn't have a great compliment-taking culture.
Yeah, we're not good at it.
Although we seem to do it okay then. The next one comes from Ben Johnson. Ben, who was at that Mr. Hands live episode on the
Lucky
beach.
Ben.
Appropriately surnamed Johnson. He's given himself the title of Roman numeral designator LXIX. Dave, quick. Dave, LXIX. I know X is 10, I is 1.
What's
So
L?
that's 19. Something 19.
Oh.
God, he's good.
Anyway, Ben's asked a question.
Oh. 69.
Oh, of course. Sorry, Ben.
That's very good. No, it's probably what he wanted us to do.
Roman
That's
numeral
good stuff.
designator 69.
Don't know,
That's
'cause I knew
nice.
I was like, it ends in 9. What's it going to be? Come on. As if
What's it going
Come
to
on,
be?
what's it going to be?
So Ben has asked the question, hey guys, at time of writing, the new Forza Horizon game, well Jess, this would be to you, being our gamer. I know Dave has played that one where he hollowed out a watermelon or something. But
Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja, thank you.
have you heard of Forza Horizon?
Yes.
Great, well you're ahead of me.
Don't know much
The
about it
new
though.
Forza Horizon game has just came out, and I created a do-go-on themed car to drive around this gorgeous recreation of Mexico. I've already shared this on the Facebook group, but I require further validation from yourselves. So he sent us a picture here. Let me pull this up. Oh, sorry. Oh, do I have to? Oh, sorry.
Is it basically like a Pimp My Ride type game where you get to pimp out your car?
I don't know.
Because that sounds fun.
You don't want to drive it. You just want to pimp it out. No, I'd like to drive it to the shops.
Forza Horizon.
There was a version of The Sims where you could have a car. That was fun. The whole family would get in the car, go to the park.
Oh, that does sound fun.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's how much you love a road trip, Bob. Even sitting at home. There it is.
Oh,
Oh, man. There we are in Mexico.
that's incredible.
Wow, that does look like a beautiful graphic.
That is fantastic. We are looking at a blue combi van.
I love a
which-
combi
With a
van.
do-go-on decal down the side, which, it's honestly my dream car.
Yeah?
If I was a billionaire.
Just to like drive around or
Putt
just to
around in.
have for like road trips and stuff?
I think
Would
I'd
you
like-
do up the inside so it was like a little camper?
Yeah, I'd have it like beautiful old upholstery, but like,
Yeah.
nice and inside. When I was a young teen, my
Yeah.
dream was to have one with a big TV, like from Pimp My Ride.
Oh, hell yeah.
So you could play like Xbox or something in the
Yeah.
back there. And a beanbag.
Mine would be, I loved the modern day VW Beetle, but I think actually what I would love if I had heaps of cash is I'd have an old Beetle, but like do it up on the inside.
Hell yeah, I love that.
That'd be sick.
I'd also...
got to be beautiful on the inside before you can be beautiful on the
Yeah,
outside.
that's so true.
Is
And that's my
is that
problem.
true?
I'm a turd on both.
I'm poo through and through.
I'm terrible.
I don't think anyone does say that though, do they? Got to be beautiful on the inside to be beautiful on the outside.
No.
It sounded like it was something.
Yeah, because the
But it
beauty
was-
just oozes out of you.
It was nothing. Yeah, for me, I just assumed that's how it went because
Yeah.
I'm beautiful inside and out.
Oh, I know. It's intimidating.
And you're, what did you say? A duh inside and out?
But Ben, that is so cool. I think we should make an effort to share that on the social media.
yeah, that's
yes. I will try and remember to do that.
cool. We are recording quite ahead of time.
That is a note to Matt when you're listening to this.
But anyway, I did say this was a question. Ben finished by saying, so now that travel's vaguely opening up again, what exotic locations would you like to do a Do Go On podcast from? Similar to the Koh Samui Festival.
Oh, that's nice. I have plans to go to Hawaii in the middle of the year. If you guys want to come
We will be joining you.
to that,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Could do a little pod on the beach of
Do we have any-
Honolulu.
I wonder if we have any Honolulian listeners.
That'd be nice.
Let us know.
Where would be fun to
I
do
know
a
where
pod?
Dave wants to do it.
International waters, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's my dream to get us out on a barge.
Yeah.
Travel out what I've researched is about 300 kilometres off the coast before we get truly into the international waters. Start podcasting, start gambling,
Uh-huh.
obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously.
the whole podcast will be the rattling of dice will be sort of
Yep.
happening underneath.
Quite distracting.
We'll do a
but
bit of a podcast UFC.
Oh yeah,
Be-
I'd love to do
I'll
one.
kill you.
I know.
Overseas would be good. I'd love to do one in like in a country town somewhere in Australia, just in a caravan park or something.
That'd be fun.
You know, like in a caravan park, they have the barbecue setup.
Yeah.
So we do a cook up on the barbie.
Yeah. Everyone just like gets a caravan or a little cabin there.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we do it outdoors.
Yeah, outdoors, just in the. Yeah, I think something like that would be nice. Just a big fan of caravan parks. I was growing up, all of my favourite holiday memories. Ben does answer the question himself, as we always encourage people to do, saying, my answer is either Japan or New Zealand. Both amazing places I'd love to visit. I'd be right up for both of those as well.
That'd be awesome.
New Zealand feels like it.
That feels
It's-
more
it's,
doable.
Probably, I'd assume our next overseas episode will be in New
I
Zealand.
hope so, yeah.
Japan would also be amazing. I haven't been to Japan, but I'd love to visit. And I've been to New Zealand a few times, and I bloody love it.
Love New Zealand.
Thank you so much for that question, Ben. Next one comes from Sophie Robson. That's a joke at her own expense there, because she seems to
She
switches
picks and
between the
chooses,
two.
yeah. That's all right. You
One
can
of
be both.
those names is her knee.
Yes, that's right.
Nee Robson. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have a knee. Just got to change my name.
Yeah.
Is that all you need?
I guess so. It's all you need.
Sophie has given herself the title Group Mum. No, we're not nearly there yet. And if you ask me again, I'm turning this car around. It's amazing how many road trip references have been in these ones.
Yeah.
Can I have a lolly, Sophie?
Sophia.
I'm hungry. I want a lolly.
Sophie has also bragged.
Yes, Sophie.
Sophie writes, every year for Christmas, I like to choose a crafting item I've never tried before and include it in my gifting. I've done crochet, candles, and cross-stitch. Last year I made filled chocolates. Wow. Which was so rewarding, but bloody annoying to do. Also, what's your favourite flavoured filled chocky?
Peppermint.
Mine's raspberry. Peppermint for you?
Yeah, big time.
Peppermint's very good. Caramel's
great,
favourite.
yeah.
Oh,
Anything nutty?
Nah, not a fan of nutty. Peppermint for me.
I think maybe strawberry. Like, I love a strawberry Freddo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that flavour. Oof. Or when you have the Cadbury snack. I like the pink one, the strawberry one. Yeah.
When I was a child, I liked Cadbury snack as well.
When I was a little boy, when I was working at a company. It's essentially like a tech startup. It was one of the biggest companies I would say in Australia, and so there was lots of weird little perks. You could go upstairs and just help yourself to like.
Are you ever going to have little perks?
Here.
Do you think of Goose as a little perk?
He's a little perk. Actually, he's at the vet. His surname is Simpson. It's very upsetting. Anyway, you could go and get like drinks, and there was always like chocolates and lollies and stuff. And anytime any of my team went, if they saw a mint Freddo in the gigantic bowl of treats you could have, they'd grab one for me because they were my favourite and they were rare. And we had a KK one Christmas, and the girl who had me for weeks leading up to it hoarded as many of these mint Freddos as she could, and then just gave me a box of them.
I think
that's sick.
really thoughtful, but also what a tight ass.
No, she also gave me like a fun mug. But
she's like, yeah, great. I've given you something that the company gives for free.
Here's a handful of gravel I picked up from outside your house.
Hey, isn't that nice? I put it in your shoes.
You like gravel, don't you?
I'll put it in your
shoes.
shoes. I know you said that time you love feeling that crunch of walking on gravel, so you can have that feeling anytime now.
Permanently.
Crunch time.
I think maybe you've said that now. I'll say if we go on that variety pack, I'll have the caramello koala.
Yeah, great. Oh, we're sorted.
Oh, love it.
Anyway, that was part of the brag, but Sophie finishes by saying, this year my homemade gift, so this was last Christmas, I gave him a heart, etc.
As in like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
It sounded like it was ages ago.
Sophie was made bars of soap.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed making them, and I can't wait for people to start using them. Oh, that sounds like your mates are stinky.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess this will read nearish Christmas, so I hope you three have a truly wonderful time. And as ever, thank you all for your hard work with this podcast and community. Thank you so much, Sophie. It is leading up to Christmas at time of recording. Sorry to spoil that bullshit riff we did before.
We did not party together on New Year's Eve.
As if.
Yuck.
We were all asleep, probably. Katie Clay's finally. Katie's given herself the title, the Mother of the Sass Queen.
My mum?
Mummy?
Annie has a lot to answer for then.
Katie Clays. What a great name, Katie Clays. Katie's got a fact, which is Ernie Dingo is a Yamachi man, Murchison region of WA, moved to Perth and took up an apprenticeship in signwriting and became a standout in Australian rules and basketball competitions across the metropolitan area before getting into acting. I once was privileged to see him accompanying Paul Kelly on stage in Broome, WA. Paul singing and Ernie playing the didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Ernie Dingo.
On the recording, I believe on the recording of Little Things, Big Things Grows, didgeridoo at the end, and it is Ernie Dingo
No
playing.
shit.
Oh, that's
Because
great.
he's such a good actor, great presenter on travel shows. Imagine he loves a road trip.
He's
And
awesome.
But I didn't realize he was a handy footballer and basketballer.
Yeah.
And signwriter. So
Yeah.
that's very artistic as well.
Well, that feels like there's a report in there somewhere.
Ernie does it
Dingo.
all.
Ernie's awesome. On
So funny.
On Simply the Jest, we had a story one time of a girl who, I think it might have been, the topic was like celebrities. No, I don't remember what it was, but she was like 2 and they were walking along a pier and she like put her she leaned over to look in a big bucket that had fish in it, and she fell into the bucket, a 2-year-old.
Oh, okay. I missed that bit.
Yeah. So it was like...
Hello, that's a funny pratfall.
It was
An
not
adult.
good.
No, that's not good.
Somebody grabs her by the back of the shirt and pulls her out. It's Ernie Dingo.
Fuck off.
Saying, whose kid is this? That's why every time I hear Ernie
lifesaver.
Dingo now, I'm like... It's a great story.
That's
She was like,
so
it was
good.
Ernie Dingo.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. You got to do a dingo report
Yeah.
and include that bit in it.
I would love to.
Because, you know, some people don't even listen to the everyone's favourite section of the show, which I know everyone agrees is weird, but...
That seems baffling. Why wouldn't you listen?
So they
It's
won't...
the best bit.
They really need to hear that story. Well, that brings us to everyone's other favourite part of the show, where we thank a few of our other great supporters. Jess, you normally come up with little games. We give them all a title or something based on the topic of the day. Maybe, what sights they'd see, or instead of caves, Nick Cave and the Cave. Maybe we can compare a natural thing and a famous celebrity. Do you reckon we can come up with 9 of those?
We could just do...
I reckon we could, couldn't we?
We could just do the hometown of which celebrity they'd visit
Great.
on their road trip.
And then I'll try and see if I can get 9 of the things I just said.
Natural occurrences.
If I can kick us off,
Yeah, please.
I'd love to thank, from address unknown, can only assume
Mole.
from deep within the fortress of the moles, Justin Lyles.
Justin Lyles visits the hometown of Rowan Atkinson.
Oh, Rowan Atkinson, eh?
Yep.
Rowan Atkinson. Also, he goes to the home of St Kilda footballer Brad Hill.
Okay.
And then goes to a nice hill nearby.
So you could have used Brad Hill for another person and said Hill.
Oh, but I mean, what can I do with Rowan Atkinson?
What I tell you, Rowan Atkinson is from Concert, a town in County Durham. What about he went to a concert
Yes, there
in
you
Concert?
go. Went to a concert there.
And they obviously occur naturally.
Yeah, a supernatural amphitheatre.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Justin. I'd also have to thank, from a similar Fortress of the Mole scenario, Phil Hyatt.
Phil Hyatt has visited the hometown of Halle Berry,
Ooh.
Halle Berry.
where he ate a raspberry.
Oh, naturally occurring. It grew.
I thought you were going to say ate a piece of Halley's Comet. Crunchy.
Kind of broke his teeth, actually.
Yeah.
Halle Berry is, of course, from Cleveland, Ohio, God's country.
God's country, Ohio, Cleveland Rocks, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think.
Very cool.
There you go.
And finally from me, I'd love to thank, from Sheffield in Great Britain, nearby Leeds, I think, Maine. Jess, this looks like it's got an Irish or Gaelic sort of spelling. M-A-E-N.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Go for Maine.
Maine Gallagher from Sheffield.
Wayne Gallagher. And what you tell me the hometown, Matt?
Sheffield.
But where the hometown of which celebrity is she visiting?
Oh.
Or is Maine visiting?
Mr. Sheffield
Yes.
actor. What's his name?
Can't even think of his. I'll have to do 2 Google searches here. Charles Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Charles Shaughnessy, yes.
From
who is from London.
London town. And so what do we got there? We got
London Eye.
Charles. Oh, London Eye. Great. Naturally occurring
London Eye.
London Eye.
Eye of a storm.
Yeah, London Eye of a storm.
So he's seen a big
Mr.
mains.
Sheffield.
It says here he's the Right Honourable the Lord Shaughnessy.
Wow.
Wow, 2 thus.
La-di-da.
Bit-
my
bit
The
much.
Right Honourable the Lord.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Surely it's just the Right Honourable Lord
Comma,
Shaughnessy.
Lord.
Yeah. Comma. All right.
All right, Jesus.
What more do you need? Comma.
Can I thank some people as well?
That would be
Please.
fantastic.
I would love to thank from Auckland, New Zealand, where we would love to go one day soon. Roy Salazar.
Oh, that is such a good name.
That is such a good name.
Roy
My God,
Salazar.
Roy Salazar.
Roy Salazar visiting the hometown of Usain Bolt.
Ooh.
Yes,
is
and
obviously-
being struck by lightning.
Yes.
naturally occurs.
Naturally occurred lightning.
Yeah. Oh,
What is the
store-bought
hometown?
Guff.
He's obviously from Jamaica, but he was
Yes.
born in Sherwood Content.
There we go.
Or Sherwood Content, a small town in Jamaica.
Cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you take a photo there, create a bit of content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the gram.
And then get struck by lightning. Thank you, Roy. I would
This
also...
is the most confused version
Yeah.
of this we've ever done.
But it's fun. We'd also love to thank from Sydney, New South Wales, Tim Everingham.
Tim Everingham.
Sydney. Yeah, Sid was the pre-marriage name. That almost works. Everingham. Geez, that sounds like an English shire or something as it is.
Visiting the hometown of
Barry Crocker.
Barry Crocker.
Which I reckon's Melbourne probably, but I hope it's some great regional spot.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. Barry Crocker. He is born in Geelong.
Geelong.
Second biggest city in our fair state. 86 years old, Barry Crocker.
Geelong, the second biggest city. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Stupid question, Jess. Idiot.
What's one of the big things you go see in Geelong?
Geelong.
Cardinia Park?
If you're a Deakin Uni student, you have to go there for your graduation,
Oh, fantastic.
which is fun.
There's a beautiful. They've done a lot of great work on the dock there.
Yep.
Some beautiful beaches.
There was an ice skating rink there for a bit
Oh,
back when I was at uni. This is
Great
going back a
spot.
while.
a few good breweries there now.
Yeah. I mean, it's the second biggest city in the state, so it's it's got everything you need.
Beautiful spot.
Beautiful spot. Not far away from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Just perfect.
Close on the way to Bells Beach and
That's right.
and the surf coast.
Maybe you go there to look at a rip.
Yeah. Yeah, go have a look at that
Go have a
rip.
look at that rip.
Yeah, you're glad you're not in that.
Oh, bloody hell.
I'd be sucking you out to sea.
Yeah, geez. Swim between the flags. So thank you to Tim. And finally for me, I would love to thank another New Zealand friend from Wellington,
The Windy City.
Hilary McKay. It's a good name as well.
Hilary McKay.
Hilary McKay. Okay, Wellington. Okay. The hometown. I've lost. I don't know. I was just thinking of a gumboot, but we've got to go with the hometown of someone.
Paddington Bear.
Paddington, the hometown of Paddington.
Which I assume is
Peru.
Peru. That's right. Darkest Peru, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Those movies, you're like, these are kids' movies, and you watch them, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so
They
good.
are fantastic.
Great plane movies.
How good is Hugh Grant?
Oh, fantastic villain.
He's amazing in it. He's so good. I'm like, oh my god, can Hugh Grant act?
It was because for a long time he just played one character.
Yeah.
And then it's like people are like, you want to try something else? He's like, yeah, I'd love to.
And then he's so
Let
good
me show
in it.
you my range.
He's so good. Oh, Hugh Grant.
He's pretty good in the Gentleman.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He
Another
is.
sort of a weaselly rat.
Yeah. Good accent
rat
work in
kind
that
of
one.
character.
So okay, Paddington, Peru.
Having a peruse.
In Peru.
Yeah.
Of Peru.
Fuck, that's good. That is good stuff.
That is good stuff.
You absolutely nailed
You
that,
couldn't
Dave.
get we can't get more specific there. It doesn't have a hometown. It was just in...
No, I've tried to look it up, but no, it doesn't look like it.
Peru.
Dave, you want to take us home with thanking a few here?
Yes, I would love to take us home by saying a big thank you and shout out to from Canton in Georgia, the United States, Tyler and Mandy Edwards.
From Canton, Georgia. When I've got Georgia on my mind... I
Yes.
can't help but think of those sweet peaches. Is that them? And Ray Charles. I'm talking about Ray's butt.
And he is from Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia.
Georgia.
And there, you can call me Albany. I forgot what this. I forgot even what
Now
we're
you got to
doing.
think of like a natural occurring thing. So go see a volcano in Albany, Georgia.
Okay, and one of those famous Albany volcanoes.
Yeah.
I just realised what we're doing. I thought we were doing puns on the title. Like a cave in cave, Nick Cave. That's what I've been doing. So sorry everyone if I confused
Well,
everyone.
I haven't been sure for a while. I feel like we split the party at some point.
To 3 different scenarios here.
I'm not even sure. I don't think I've been doing anything at all.
But we're having fun.
I'm sure that's a great volcano in Albany.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks, Tyler and Mandy. I'd like to also thank from Orange in New South Wales, Megan.
Megan.
Love Megan.
Orange. Megan. Obviously. What is it? Are we saying they're from there or they're visiting?
Well, they're visiting the hometown of which celeb?
They're visiting the hometown of famous redhead Prince Redmond. What's his name?
Harry.
Prince Harry, who's, I imagine, born in a London hospital.
Yes, they're all born in the same one.
That's boring.
St. Mary's. There's something in there.
St. Mary's, and he went to saw that place where Mary appeared, and there was the little fountain that was had a healing waters in France.
Yes.
I've been to the town. I can't think of its name.
I have no idea.
They sell jugs in the shape of Jesus there. They've really cashed in on it. No, I'd go get the holy water in this Jesus-shaped jug. I reckon that's exactly what Jesus would have wanted. Wild. I'll find that.
Is it Ruane?
No, that's Zachary.
Lourdes.
Or Lourdes. It's pronounced different, I think. But
Lourdes.
Yeah. Lourdes.
Beautiful language when said properly. And finally, I would like to thank from Braintree, which I've never heard of, but I love it. And I believe it's in Essex, in the greatest of Britons, Joe and Pippa.
From Braintree.
Braintree, love
God,
that.
that's good.
Patrick Stewart, where's he from?
Patrick Stewart, because he's got
Because
a
I
big
was thinking
brain.
of Salt and Pepper.
Love it. Patrick
Joe
Stewart.
and Pippa.
Patrick Stewart was born in Murfield in the UK.
Murfield.
He's Scottish, right? No, is he?
Well, this is West Yorkshire, apparently. That's where he's born anyway.
Apologies. I'm just going off Stewart because everyone knows Stewart is actually a Scottish name. I never really paid attention to it. I thought he just lost the accent.
Yeah.
Well, he's that good. He never performs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you've never heard his real voice.
That's true.
Isn't that beautiful?
And what are we doing in Patrick Stewart's hometown of Murfield?
Murfield. Well,
Tobogganing.
Murphy's Law says you go tobogganing and everything goes wrong. You fall in. That's what happens.
And who's going to pull you out? Ernie Dingo.
Ernie
There you
Dingo.
go. He'll get you.
All right. We somehow brought that around to some sort of a, what we'll call satisfying conclusion.
That felt like something, even though it was certainly not something.
Thank you, Joe, Pippa, Megan, Tyler, Mandy, Hillary, Tim, Roy, Maine, Phil, and Justin. The last thing we like to do is thank welcome in a few of our long-term supporters into the Triptych Club. If you're on the shout-out level or above for 3 straight years, we bring you into the Triptych Club. This is a beautiful place. You go to ticket in once, you get a ticket for life. It's a one-way valve here. You can't leave.
Don't try.
Jess, you're normally serving a cocktail. What's the Tromp family cocktail this week?
It is water with poisonous toxins in it.
You could have gone with red currants.
No, we are all going to have a psychotic episode together. I will be the leader.
Late theory, can you overdose on red currants? Is that possibly what happened?
Oh. Yeah, that could be so. There could be some sort of red
interesting
currant.
late theory.
But I'm
all right,
loving
yeah, okay. We got Ribena. It's not even the right kind of currant. But yeah, all right.
I like you being a cult leader, Jess. I really like it.
You guys have said many times I don't have the charisma for it.
You've got the charisma.
You got
the charisma inside and out.
Where's it coming out of?
If you've got if you're a duh inside and out, it's out of duh.
Yeah.
You're duh out of duh.
Yeah, I understood all that.
Well, yeah, you sprechen the Francois. Dave, you've normally booked a band?
Yes, you're never going to believe this.
Tromp Stomp.
I can't believe this.
Is there a band called Tromp Stomp?
We've I obviously book these bands months and months, if not years in advance with this big act. We've actually got Fall Out Boy performing their 4th studio album, Folie à Deux.
Oh my god.
They got an album called Folie à Deux.
Back to back.
Wow.
Wow.
I'd never heard that term before. Now all of a sudden, Fallout Boy are calling their albums it?
Can you
What?
believe it?
I cannot believe it.
I don't know if it was a massive hit album for them because I don't recognize any of the songs. But anyway, still.
Well, there's only 2 members here.
Oh, easy day for Dave.
Amazingly, same surname, different continents.
Wow, cool.
They must know each other, right? Do you think?
If they don't already, let's
they
introduce them.
signed up within a day of each other. Exact same surname, not a super common surname.
Cool.
Well, Dave, you ready to bring him in?
Yes, absolutely. Here we go. So basically my job here is as a hype man, and I hype up the new guests, but Jess also hypes me up.
Yes. Because if you're picturing it, these two people are going to be, I'm lifting up the velvet rope, welcoming it into the Triptych Club. Dave's on the stage. He's hyping up. He's getting everyone who's already inside up to give a very warm welcome. Obviously, that takes a lot out of Dave. So Jess, give them a bit of positive feedback as we go. All right, we ready for the big two?
Here we go.
Don't use the surname because you can't, or do. Up to you. Folie à deux, go on. It's weird that we didn't get to that earlier. Firstly, from Forest Lake in Queensland, Australia, it's James Brennan.
Oh, James Brennan, 10 out of 10.
Yes, that's good.
And from Orleans,
You better hope they have a good first
in
name.
Ontario, Canada, it's Tommy Brennan.
Oh, Tommy Brennan, 11 out of 10.
Cop that, James.
James Cummins, still a perfect score, mate.
Thank you to Tommy and James. Welcome in. Make yourselves at home and have a great time. Enjoy Folie à deux.
Back to back.
And a little poison drink. Jeez, you didn't come in on a great week, but...
There's other drinks in there.
Oh, all the other drinks we've ever said are still on the menu.
But yeah, okay, now there's some toxins in the water. Oh my God, you two always trying to bloody rein me in.
So that brings us to the end of the episode. Anything else we need to tell people, Bopper?
That they can find us at Do Go On Pod on all social media. DoGoOnPod.com is our website. And anybody can suggest a topic as well. So if you've spotted something out in the wild, you've seen a post about something, you know a story, and you think, hey, Do Go On might like that, there's a link in the show notes. It's also on our website. You can go suggest a topic. And yes, nailed it.
Fantastically
nailed
said.
the dismount.
Absolutely perfect there, Jess. And all we've got left to say really is do all that stuff. But until next week, we'll say thank you so much and goodbye.
Later.
Basically, what we're saying is Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
2022, huh? How about it?
How about let's do it? What do you say we do a pod every week this year?
Yeah.
Ambitious.
Change it up.
Ambitious, but okay.
I think that would be fantastic
I'll
for
give it a
people living and listening to this in the future. I mean, it'd be hard to listen if not living. You'd be going like, why are they talking about it? What's this New Year's? We don't have that here in the future. Well, back in the past, we used to celebrate the end of the year with a party night called New Year's Eve. Now that the end of the world's happened, you don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But we used to. So, go watch a video.
Yeah,
If
surely.
you have those still.
Surely there's a video of that.
Yeah, go watch a video. Just Google New Year's Eve.
And actually, just Google fireworks.
Oh my God.
It'll honestly,
do yourself a favour.
Yeah, it'll blow your mind. So fun. And they go like bang, 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 bang.
So good.
Really cool stuff.
So fun.
Really cool stuff.
I was very cranky.
I bet you there'll be at least 10 fireworks tonight. Mm-hmm. And if there's more, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
But imagine. And there were like 100.
There was so many.
Yeah.
I lost count actually because they were just like bang, 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 bang. And they're all going at the same time as well. So it's like, was that 3 or was that one that like does a big bang and then little bangs? Does that count as 2?
I was wondering that too, technically speaking. But either way, I think it cleared 10.
Easily, yeah.
And did you notice that there were lots of different colours? Because I said, I love light, and that's one of the big things in fireworks. You got the sound, but I love the light part of it. It's probably my favourite bit.
Yeah.
And I love how they sort of go out sparkly white.
Yes.
But imagine if they could do them in different colours. And that night, there was red.
Yep.
There was green.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was absolutely
Was
wild.
there a blue?
I don't think there